Alright. Okay. Hello. Basically what I'm going to go over today is Billy Mitchell's friends and how they've tried to defend Billy Mitchell in the past 2 or 3 days. And each time they've tried to defend him, they've actually fell on their face, and it's a lot worse than before they tried their defense. One thing that was really okay. They decided to say, okay, to the top Donkey Kong players, if you guys keep on trying to push this issue, we're going to release some hardcore nuclear bombshell information that will completely explode. And basically what they thought was this nuclear bomb information was that the top players they replaced the old joystick button and they put in a newer button because a lot of the old buttons stopped working. This is the first thing to fail on an arcade cabinet. Anyone that knows anything about arcade games knows the first thing to fail is the button. So you need newer buttons. And they were like, the newer buttons are some more reliable, they're quicker. And I'm like, wait a minute. Donkey Kong, the game, is basically a precision game. It's not a speed game. It doesn't matter how fast you go. It's all about precision timing and able to know what's coming next and be able to react to that. It's all about timing. That's the number one thing in how precision timing, not just timing, but precision timing where it's like boom. Well, the community was like, what the frick are you talking about? This has never been an issue. It hasn't. Even when in 2010, Twin Galaxies was super strict. They wanted Billy Mitchell and Steve Wiebe back then in 2010. They wanted them to remain the top players, and the way they try to stop that is to make this ridiculous rule set of you've got to go to the back of the cab, open it before you play a game, and you got to do basically all this ridiculous stuff. And they had you needed the original Nintendo's power supply, and there were other things that were there were literally 20 different things that a player would have to go through in order to submit a score that was over 1 million or whatever. And Hank Chen had to go through, who was the next champion after Steve Wiebe and Billy Mitchell, he had to go through 20 different steps just to get his world record score verified. So after that, but I was saying during that time, even during that strictest time, no one was talking about, oh, the button must be the original arcade button. No one cared. And so he releases this about how the top players aren't using the original button, and the whole community and everyone else is like, what the freak are you talking about? This is a joke. And so instead of a nuclear bomb, it becomes a dud. Then, another thing. Billy Mitchell's friend, Robert Childs, who was at Boomer's Arcade when he made his last record, supposedly, and basically was like, look, it's the converter. The reason why you're seeing MAME is because of the converter, and the RGB to the NTSC converter makes it look like MAME. And people were like, no, nothing dealing with the output is going to magically make an arcade game frame by frame look like MAME. And so it's like, no, this converter is still not going to make the transition stage look like MAME. And yeah, and the head of Twin Galaxies, who they were making this argument too, happens to be a master video technician. That's what he did for a living. Jace Hall is, he's ran shows. He's had, video production companies. And so you're making this argument to someone that owns a video production company and knows this whole thing is a bunch of malarkey. And so not only that, but then they said, you know, upon closer inspection, people are like, where exactly is the wires to the converter anyway? Because in the video, there is none. And one more thing about Robert Childs that you may not know. Before this MAME thing, he made a video to verify Billy Mitchell's score that he put on YouTube saying, and in the video he's like, I'm taking out the Donkey Kong board, and I'm putting in a Donkey Kong Jr. board so that he can go for the Donkey Kong Jr. record as well. What people started to realize, and what one YouTuber realized, Robert Felstein, is that the board that he was taking out wasn't a Donkey Kong board, it was a Donkey Kong Jr. board. And what he did, he took the Donkey Kong Jr. board and put in a Donkey Kong Jr. board. This is Robert Childs, the one that came up with the converter defense. And you know what happened when they notified him of this? He deleted all the audio from that video and then put in opera music instead, so that there was no incriminating evidence that he was taking out and replaced that. Basically what he was saying was a complete lie. But unfortunately for this guy, someone copied the video before he had a chance to remove the audio. And everyone in the community realized this. And so the guy that's basically tried to cover it up, he failed. And the guy who copied the video made it available to the public. And now everyone knows that it's a complete lie. And so here's Robert Childs, the one that's trying to defend him with this converter thing. His credibility got completely destroyed when he did the little the board thing and didn't try to remove the audio. So that's an update of the defense of Billy Mitchell by his close friends and how it's not gone well. Another defense was that the people that are making this protest are basically just jealous haters of Billy Mitchell's fame, and they're just doing it because they're just jealous. And I'm like, okay, come on, really? No, the evidence is there. Anyone who wants to see it can see it. Frame by frame, the transition looks like MAME. And they've been throwing defenses around like blah, 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 but they're ignoring the big pink elephant in the room. It's there. And they completely ignore it. They talk about the carpeting, the chairs, the couches, but when it comes to the actual big old elephant in the room of the transition stages look like they're MAME, they have no rational explanation. Not at least yet. I'm still waiting. And to this day, there has not been one shred of credible evidence, in my opinion. Maybe one day there'll be a magical video that will be like, oh, egg on my face. But at this moment, I doubt that's going to happen. So that's it. Have a nice one. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.